Hello, everyone. Welcome to Hands Off Beverly. I'm Matt Fletcher. Our guest today, Bill Mantone, served in the Vietnam conflict as a Navy corpsman attached to a Marine infantry unit from 1969 to 1970. Following his military service, he built a remarkable career as a registered nurse specializing in mental health and dedicating decades, literally decades, and primarily in the public sector of service from 1965 to 2015. Beyond his work in healthcare, Bill is also an accomplished musician. He began playing clarinet at just 9 years old, picked up the saxophone at 13, and continues to perform professionally today. More recently, Bill joined Hands Off Beverly along with his wife, Robin, where he has taken on a leadership role as one of the group's lead marshals, helping ensure the safety and organization of fellow protesters. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome this week's guest, Bill Mantone. So, Bill, thanks for coming on the show.
Good to see you.
Great to see you, sir. So,
again.
Bill, as we see each other quite often, we'll get into that.
Yeah.
You spent decades as a psychiatric nurse.
I did.
What first drew you to want to pursue that profession?
It was actually accidental. Yeah. I think it actually goes back. My father retired and then took a job as a head of maintenance in McLean Hospital, and I needed a job, and I think he was afraid if he put me in a maintenance shop, I'd screw something up. So go work with patients where you can't do any harm. And so I wound up working in McLean for a couple of years, and then when I went into the military, I continued working in healthcare as a corpsman. So, and I just I sort of focused on psychiatric conditions also in stateside in the military.
Right.
And I just sort of stuck with it, and I felt like I was good at it, so
Yeah.
I stayed at it.
So over the course of your career then, in general, in the years that you've, been doing that, how many years?
I think it's 60 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it is 60 years.
Jeepers.
My first job when I was I think 18.
Yeah, because you were a teenager and then
Yeah.
drafted.
But I was I remember when I went to work at McLean, to put me on this unit with all these other adolescent males. I had my own issues. I mean, come on.
Yeah, so kind of like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You're the good nurse or the bad nurse?
Depend on who you talk to.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So over the course of your career, what changes have you seen in how we understand and how we treat mental health?
All right. Well, I think, again, it was 1965. Things were very different then.
Yeah.
We were using a lot more physical restraint in the hospitals than we do now. Certainly, the advent of medication, development of psychiatric medications has come a long way, and it's and I think that you're more apt to see people even with severe mental illness able to function in the community, when before that everybody was institutionalized and stayed there.
Right.
I worked in the state system for a while, and there were people who had been in that state hospital literally for decades. It was the only home they knew. So that's a little different.
So what are some of the biggest challenges facing people with, people facing mental health that they're still dealing with today? Like, what do you see what's the next thing? Because I've done ketamine for mental health. I'm very open about my battles with depression. And so that's why I thought it was fun. It's going to be great to have you on, especially. But I've now tried ketamine. They're using that now for depression. And I've also tried TMS, transcranial magnetic stimulation. It's like taps on your head for forever. Okay. So breakthroughs like that.
Well, those are very recent breakthroughs, and to be very honest, I've been retired for like 10 years.
Yeah, so that wasn't even out.
It's not something I had any exposure to. So.
So, how did your experience in mental health shape the way you see the community, and how does it help you with conflict?
Well, the thing about working on inpatient units is there's always lots of conflict.
Yeah.
And I I think it's helped me. I mean, I'm as probably reactive as anyone else is, but I think working in that situation, it sort of helped me get to a point where I sort of take a breath and think about what I'm going to do next.
Yeah.
And before I actually intervene, and like even at our demonstrations when
Right.
things happen, I actually sort of make myself stop for a second, and say,
Yeah.
how are we going to go about this? Because if I don't, I'll just be reactive, and that's not.
So it's funny you should mention that. My next question was about, do you find that your training as a psychiatric nurse helps you in the high stress areas of the protests?
I do. I really do. I think it's I'm used to that kind of chaos.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's it's how can I say it? It's helped me sort of again go in with some sort of idea what I'm doing before I actually walk in there and
Right.
sort of plan ahead. So
Right. So that follows right into my next question, which was, did you read these before?
yeah, I did.
As a marshal, you're one of the marshals with the Hands Off Beverly group, as everybody knows, and because I told them.
Okay.
What does your role look like on the ground? Like, what's your main function as a marshal?
Mostly, I'm constantly scanning. I'm constantly looking for not looking for situations, but looking at situations that may or may not develop.
Right.
And I mean, very often people will say, there's a guy down there, or people will alert me to some situation they're concerned about, and then I can go and take a look at it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we've had a couple of encounters.
We have, yeah.
But I believe they've been short-lived. I think we've dealt with them
Yeah.
properly.
Yep. Yeah. One comes to mind.
Yeah, gentleman that may have had a beverage or two in the morning.
Yes, he had a beer,
Yeah.
and we basically parented him.
Speaking of which, the protests do bring out strong emotions.
They do.
How do you have anything you do to make A, yourself calm, and B, try to, like, how'd you go about calming me down, Because you're in your head, but how do you get in my head? It's a good one.
Okay. I'm not going in that head. Anyways, it's just a question of looking at the situation, trying to get a sense of the whole situation before I can respond to it. And
Right.
that has to happen pretty quickly, obviously, but that's really. I think that the primary thing is safety. I always think about people's safety.
People around
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
People around the situation.
People around the situation, and also even the person that might be causing trouble. I think about their safety too. So.
Now, have you had a moment during the protest where your background in mental health made a real difference? Actually, I want to think of that one example that we dealt with together. I noticed your calmness when most people would have gone off at what this person did, but you kept it under control. And I found that fascinating.
Well, I think in that situation, it wasn't just him. There were a lot of the folks that sort of hang out at that
Right.
park, and I was also conscious. They were watching us also.
Right.
So what I had to think about was, don't give them a reason to become more angry at us,
Right.
and just be as gentle as possible, but as firm
Yep.
as possible.
Yeah. What would you say right now to people who may feel overwhelmed or anxious about getting involved in activism? Because a lot of people are scared to protest.
I would tell you that it's, speaking for myself, it's felt really good to be able to stand out there and make our statements, clearly, and you really do feel better. I mean, I was sitting home like other folks too, yelling at my television, and it just feels good to do something, to do something that feels organized and focused.
I feel like we've built a sense of community, even just within the Marshall area, that I think has been a treasure for me personally.
Yeah.
It's definitely an ad for a crappy situation.
Yeah.
We get around, we get to hang out with some really cool people for an hour, and then sit down after and have a beer and do a, I don't want to say post-mortem because that sounds.
We call it processing.
Yes.
We're processing.
We're processing the day.
Yeah.
And looking at your both your career in mental health and your work with Hands Off Beverly, what keeps you motivated to engage and to serve others? You didn't have to come to a protest. You were gone from that place. You retired. You were free, free, buddy.
Yeah. Well, what keeps me engaged is the fact that I'm truly concerned that if things don't turn around, that we're going to lose the country. We're going to, not to get into it too deeply, but when I came back from Vietnam, I knew that there was going to be a country, and no matter what happened in Vietnam, there was going to be a country when that was over.
Right.
That's not the case now. So what keeps me motivated is fear at this point, to some degree, that all this is going to go away. Whatever this democracy is just going to go away, and that really keeps me coming back and really feeling a need to sort of do whatever little I can do to preserve that democracy.
And you're going on, correct me if I'm wrong, 70 years of playing jazz music.
70, coming on.
I paid attention.
I started playing when I was 9.
Right?
I wasn't playing jazz when I was 9, but I started playing when I was 9.
And you started with the clarinet.
Started with clarinet, and by the time I was like probably 13, I got into junior high school. I wanted to play in bands, and in those days, clarinet didn't cut it. So
No.
I started playing saxophone, and they're very similar instruments. You can easily make the transition from clarinet to saxophone. It's pretty much.
Really?
Yeah. A lot of the fingers are all the same, and it's an easy transition. The transition from saxophone to clarinet is not as easy.
Interesting.
Yeah, because the clarinet's a little more. To me, clarinet's it's my favorite. It's still my favorite one to play, but it's a lot of ways less forgiving than a saxophone.
Oh, that makes sense. What do you like to? So you say do you like to play the clarinet?
I do like
better?
clarinet. Yeah, I do.
Like if you're sitting at home and you want to goof around a little bit, you're picking up the clarinet.
Not as often as I should, but yeah, I do. I'll pick up the clarinet first. Usually, it's the first one. I mean, I have, but like when the people I'm playing with now, I play saxophone and clarinet a lot, and do vocals too. But
So you're switching back and forth during a show.
oh yeah,
That's easy to do
yeah.
for you now. Well, I mean, after 70 years, I hope you figured it out.
Yeah, well, you never stop figuring it out. It's always something to figure out. That's the thing about playing music.
Yeah.
But yeah, I switch back and forth between I usually tenor, excuse me, soprano saxophone and clarinet. So.
And now you're doing gigs.
Yeah.
You got a regular gig in Beverly.
Yeah, so far we've been lucky for the last few months to get a regular gig in Sala's Restaurant Bar.
Yeah, it's on Rantoul.
On Rantoul Street.
Your next date is the 4th?
April 4th.
April 4th.
Yeah.
first Saturday of the month is going to be roughly what? And you play with a trio? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's just, well, the trio, we started as a 6-piece, pretty, straight ahead blues band from years ago, but things sort of changed in terms of what we wanted to do for music, and we lost and gained people along the way, and now it's just down to myself, Mark Dix, who plays guitar with us, and Mark and I have been playing together for something like 36 years.
Oh, geez.
And our lovely seamstress of song, Robin Winter, who is also my wife.
Oh, so you had to say that.
Yeah, I had to say that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
Blink twice if you're in danger. No. So she sings.
She does, rather well.
I've heard her,
Yeah.
and it's amazing. It's a great sound that you guys put together.
It's a lot of fun. A lot of focus on 3-part harmonies, and I think it really is a joy to sing, to do that with other people, to sing with other people. It just really feels good to do that.
Release those, what do they call them, endorphins and
Yeah, it really does. I mean, I tell people I know we're ready to perform a song when I never want to hear it again. So, because it's we put so much work into putting those harmonies together, and we'll go over the harmonies over and over and over again until they sound just right. So,
Right.
Work with those. So.
I'm a huge fan of music, but I've never played an instrument. One of my biggest regrets in my life was not starting early. was
Yeah.
not trying to.
Never too late.
That's. Oh, I don't know. It might be too late, Bill. Might be too late. What kind of gigs? You're in a 6-piece blues band.
I was, yeah.
Now, I would imagine it's tough to get gigs in this area for a 6-piece blues band.
Well,
Is that something that changed?
This is back in the late 90s, and we actually
Oh, wow.
we actually made we made a little bit of noise back in the days. We got to play a lot of really great clubs in the area. Club Passim's comes to mind. We played there, several times, and it was fun. It was, but it got to be like it's the same thing all the time. Like,
Right.
And quite frankly, playing blues on saxophone, you can only do so much with 3 chords, so it's
Right.
And then we sort of went down to a 4-piece acoustic, much more acoustically oriented band, and we did that for a bunch of years, and then COVID came, and we had a steady gig at Chianti in Beverly for a bunch of years, and that when Chianti closed because of COVID, that really took the wind out of everybody's sails.
Yeah.
So our bass player is playing also. He's playing with another band now, doing sort of straight ahead covers locally, and that's what he wanted to do, and we wanted to do this. So here we are. So.
No hard feelings.
No hard feelings, and
That's good.
Mark is our guitar player is a pretty prolific songwriter. So
Right.
we get to do a lot of original stuff too.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's very cool.
Yep.
How many times a week do you guys get together to practice?
at least once a week, and like with having the steady gig at Solid.
Yeah.
We probably do it. We get together more often than that because we want to bring new material in. We're
Yeah.
playing there all the time. So.
Right. It was because you don't want to go same set every
Right.
Saturday. 'Cause people,
Yeah.
we've heard that.
Yeah. So, but anyways, and Mark is also now, and his wife have also joined us, and he shows up at the
At the protest?
the Wednesday night protest. He
Oh,
showed,
oh.
yeah, and he shows up there. So, and actually came last Saturday too. So.
I'm going to start. Oh, that's cool. And next, you have to introduce me.
Okay.
You know, the thing about these protests, you know, I met people that I'm probably going to be in touch with for the rest of my life.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't get over, and I mentioned it earlier, I can't get over the wonderful sense of community that really, I mean, it was Judy Law that started the protest, but Andreas had soon took it over.
Right.
And so Andreas, who's on our first show, our fearless leader, he really put together a team. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at like the big protests that we've done, and we've got another one coming up this weekend, and if you're watching this at a later time, it was the 28th of March.
That's gonna be hard to miss.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to miss. We have 30 marshals.
Yeah. I read this morning that there's actually protests happening in 190 countries around the world.
Wow.
So it's yeah. It really is something. And I know since Rob and I have been started just about a year ago with Hands Off Beverly.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
just a little longer than me.
yeah, just and it's been how can I say it? It's been just that sense of community we talk about.
Yeah.
It's just been wonderful, really helpful and help me get through this day-to-day thing of watching what's going on
Right.
in the country. And people have been so welcoming, and I mean, and Robert and I, very early on, became very involved with helping to organize the protests, and it's been great. It really has been helpful. You know, again, people will come by and say, well, you know, it's not going to change anything.
Well,
Well, neither is sitting in front of neither is sitting at home. But you know, but I disagree. I think it is changing things.
I disagree a lot,
Yeah.
especially just in Beverly, relatively blue city. But not only are people coming out, people are honking the horns, and people are pulling on the big trucks, and a lot of those big trucks, that surprises me.
Yeah,
That they're not on the other team, but they're not. I mean, they're pulling that cord, and it's good. And when I go to people and I say to them, "Thank you for coming," and they're like, "Thank you for having us."
yeah,
I think that's the nicest reply you could get, you know, in that type of scenario. Thanks for being here. You know, thanks for doing this.
yeah.
You know?
I'm always sort of taken by surprise when I'll get things like thank you for helping keep us safe.
Yeah.
And so forth. It really warms my stone cold heart.
So each Saturday, your heart grows 3 sizes.
Yeah, doesn't do much, doesn't beat me any better, but
No, no.
it grows. Yeah, but so anyway, it's become an important part of our life.
Yeah. Mine too. So this Saturday, which is the 28th of March, if you're watching later, man, it's going to be a rumble. It's
Yeah.
going to be conservatively. I want to hear what your number is. Conservatively, I think it's going to be over 2,000 people. Just to be fair, we had 1,500 at the last one. 700 at the one before that.
Yep.
So the increase was quite incredible from the first to the second.
I think it's possible to see 2,000 to 3,000 people on
2,500?
Yeah, roughly. I would say 2,500 would be a good guess. And the other thing I noticed that every week, different faces.
New faces, yeah.
people, younger faces, people bringing their children.
That's what's awesome.
Yeah.
We're starting to see a lot more of that. I mean, we love dogs. It's a very dog-friendly protest. A lot of chilled out dogs.
They
too.
really are.
I mean, if you walk by without petting them, they get a little upset.
Yeah,
They're there for the scratches.
yeah, they have to get their proper stare. Yeah. So
Well, we'll have ourselves ready for. We've got a lot of great speakers. Senator Ed Markey is going to come. Apparently, I'm emceeing it.
that's what we've been told.
That's what I was told.
Well,
I didn't know.
I guess that's that now.
I guess we solved that problem, didn't we?
Yeah.
Well, Bill Mantone, legendary jazz musician.
Hardly, but yeah. That's the other thing about living in Beverly, by the way, is there is a wealth of really, really good musicians in this area.
Yeah.
Yeah, some incredible players. That,
Yeah.
I just
Our director, John, is an incredible musician. The executive director for BevCam, he's in a tribute band of Guns N' Roses.
Oh.
But if you meet him,
Yeah.
he's the most mild-mannered sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
But then he transforms into Axl Rose. I got to see that at one point.
Yeah, I have to see that sometime too. I'm not a metal fan, but okay.
Yeah. No. So anyway, Bill Mantone, we got a big day coming up on Saturday.
We do.
Word on the street is we could hit 3,000. I don't know. That's a lot for our space and for Beverly, to be honest.
Yeah.
That'd be at least, what would it be, 3.5%, maybe even 4% of our population. And there's that adage that if you get 3.5% protest, you make change.
I hope it exceeds that.
I hope it exceeds that as well. I want to keep people safe and entertained, and I want to see lots of dogs.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to it.
I am too, Bill, and I appreciate you coming on.
Oh, thank you. for having me.
Talking mental health and jazz music.
The
oddest
two
combination.
staples, yes.
Yes. It's like chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, that's right. Bill,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Okay, thanks for
Really
having me.
appreciate you taking the time.
Okay.
All right. Folks, we're going to see you next time. Be careful. Be safe.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, don't forget our weekly protests on Wednesdays from 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. at 225 Cabot Street, and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. at Odell Veterans Memorial Park at 158 Rantoul Street. We'd love to see you at either or both, but please remember, March 28th is the next national No Kings protest, and we would love to see you there.